Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 124. We're going to talk about Wolf Girl from 2001. I watched this on Amazon Prime. I had not seen this before. As always, we start with the prominent crew and cast. The show notes include links to a complete credit list. I know I always say this, but I want to emphasize it this time. A significant portion of this film is authentic circus sideshow performers doing their acts. It adds a level of charm and thematic complexity to the movie, and I just want these performers to get their credit. The film was directed by Tom Fitzgerald, written by Laurie Lansons, with effects makeup designed by Paul Jones. Tom Fitzgerald gained recognition with his debut feature film, The Hanging Garden, in 1997. He's been celebrated throughout his career for tackling challenging social themes. His work often explores LGBT experiences, familial relationships, and social marginalization. Beyond filmmaking, Fitzgerald is an accomplished playwright. Laurie Lansons had a roughly 10-year career writing for the film and television industry before she transitioned to novel writing, where she found significant success. We first discussed Paul Jones when we covered Ginger Snaps from 2000. The cast includes Shelby Fenner as Crystal, Shawn Ashmore as Bo Little, Tony Denman as Corey, Nate Dushku as Whiffer, Dove Tieffenbach as Ryan Klein, Tim Curry as Harley Dune, Jordan Prentice as Fingers Finian, Victoria Sanchez as Tara Talbot, Tara the Wolf Girl, Grace Jones as Christine, and Darlene Cates as Athena the Fat Lady. Shelby Fenner had a decade-long career in film and television in the early 2000s. Shawn Ashmore began acting as a child, often working alongside his twin brother Aaron Ashmore. Ashmore gained widespread recognition for his role as Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, in the X-Men film franchise, appearing in X2, X-Men United in 2003, X-Men The Last Stand in 2006, and X-Men Days of Future Past in 2014. His television work has been equally impressive. He starred in the critically acclaimed science fiction series The Following, alongside Kevin Bacon, from 2013 to 2015. Currently, he appears in the long-lasting series The Rookie. Tony Denman is best known for his role in the critically acclaimed film Fargo from 1996, directed by Joel and Ethan Coen. Denman works primarily in independent cinema. Nate Dushku is an actor who has appeared in independent cinema as well. He's the brother of actress Elisa Dushku. Dove Tieffenbach isn't a widely recognized actor, but has built a career with consistent supporting roles in film and television productions. Perhaps his two highest profile roles are Tommy Boy in 1995 and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle in 2004. Tim Curry is an icon, and I am thrilled to have the opportunity to discuss his career. He's a star of film, stage, television, and voice acting. His career-defining moment came in 1975 with his portrayal of Dr. Frankenfurter in the stage production and subsequent film The Rocky Horror Picture Show. His gender-bending performance as the sweet transvestite from Transylvania became an instant cultural phenomenon. The role catapulted him to international fame and has remained his most recognized character. Following Rocky Horror, Curry demonstrated remarkable versatility. In film, he delivered standout performances in movies like Clue, playing the memorable butler Wadsworth, and Legend, portraying the terrifying demon Darkness, both in 1985. In 1996, he played Long John Silver in Muppet Treasure Island. He's also a prolific voice actor with notable roles like Nigel Thornberry in the Wild Thornberrys movies and television shows, or Star Wars Clone Wars. He played a crazed clown in Stephen King's miniseries It in 1990. He's done a ton of video game voice acting, while also maintaining a strong presence in theater, performing in stage productions in London's West End and on Broadway. In July 2012, Curry suffered a major stroke that significantly impacted his mobility. Despite this challenge, he has continued to work, makes occasional public appearances, and remains beloved by his fans. Curry has been relatively private about his personal life and never married, focusing primarily on his artistic career. Ultimately, Tim Curry is a unique talent, and I'm leaving out major roles in this list of highlights. Feel free to add your favorites in the comments. Jordan Prentice has carved out a niche for himself in the film industry, particularly in Canadian cinema. His first role was as Howard the Duck in the 1986 George Lucas-produced film At the Tender Age of 13. Prentice gained recognition for his role in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle in 2004 and in Bruges in 2008. We'll see Victoria Sanchez soon when she has a guest role on the werewolf TV show I'm currently watching, Big Wolf on Campus. She's done a lot of work for television with a long-running role on Student Bodies from 1997 to 1999, and recently appearing on Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan from 2018 to 2023. Lately, she's been doing quite a bit of video game voices, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Gotham Knights. Grace Jones is a Jamaican-American performer who made her mark in music, fashion, and acting. Jones began her career as a model in the 70s, becoming one of the most striking and influential figures in the fashion world. Her androgynous, angular look challenged traditional beauty standards and made her an icon of the disco and new wave eras. As a musician, her albums like Nightclubbing in 1981 and Slave to the Rhythm in 1985 were critically acclaimed, featuring musical styles that blended electronic, funk, and reggae influences. Her musical performances were as much theatrical spectacles as they were concerts, with Jones known for dramatic costumes and commanding stage presence. In acting, Jones appeared in several notable films, including the James Bond film A View to a Kill in 1985, where she played May Day, and the cult classic Conan the Destroyer in 1984 alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. Her film roles often capitalized on her striking physical presence and unconventional charisma. Her autobiography, I'll Never Write My Memoirs, released in 2015, provides insights into her remarkable life and career. Darlene Cates is best known for her memorable performance in the independent film What's Eating Gilbert Grape from 1993, where she portrayed the mother of the main characters, played by Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio. Her casting came through a unique circumstance after director Lasse Hallström saw her on a television show about extremely overweight individuals. Her performance in the film was critically acclaimed for its emotional depth and authenticity, and Wolf Girl is her only other film role. As far as recommendations, I love this film. It's not perfect, but it has so much heart and compassion. It's also an unflinching look at a difficult subject, sideshows, and freaks that we will absolutely cover in more depth after the synopsis. My only serious complaint is that there is enough nudity in it that I would have difficulty recommending this film to kids, who might get the most out of the themes and messages about acceptance, insecurity, and bullying. This is not the first movie to address circus and sideshow freaks. One of the first, and perhaps the most notorious, is Freaks, a 1932 American pre-code drama horror film produced and directed by Todd Browning, starring Wallace Ford, Lila Hyams, Olga Baklanova, and Roscoe Aites. It follows a conniving trapeze artist who joins a group of carnival sideshow performers with a plan to seduce and murder a midget in the troupe to gain his inheritance. However, her plot proves to have dangerous consequences. The film is based on elements from the short story Spurs by Todd Robbins, first published in Moonsies magazine in February 1923. Nor is Wolf Girl the first werewolf film to tackle the subject matter. Legend of the Werewolf from 1975 used the idea of a performing wolf boy in its premise, while Howling 6, The Freaks from 1991 thematically explored the concepts. However, Wolf Girl is the best werewolf film to examine the issue so far. So let's move on to the synopsis. A group of teens bully a kid with a pet rabbit before watching a traveling carnival drive by. Everyone pitches in to set up the show. Harley Dunes, natural wonders and amazing curiosities in the forest, including Tara, a girl with hair all over her body, the wolf girl of the title. The teens watch, attracted and disgusted in equal measure. The boy with the bunny, Ryan Klein, watches with something like longing in his eyes for the community that he sees among the circus. The teens recklessly shoot a gun at bottles sitting on a scarecrow. A bunch of plastic surgeons and beauty scientists are perfecting ways people can change their looks, even before the baby is born. One woman, Ryan's mother, steals a lab rat, and apparently a lot of other lab animals, it seems. There's also a wolf in the area that's killing pets, and the local farmers are preparing a posse to hunt it down. We watch Tara prepare for her show, including fake fangs and claws. We see other acts in the circus perform. Ryan sneaks out and peeps on Tara, but it doesn't feel creepy. The teens set out to harass Tara, but Harley interrupts them. Bo, the leader of the teens, throws dog shit on Tara during her performance, and she breaks down. Harley feels responsible for this. He's struggling to hold the show together. In the dark forest, Bo gets separated from his friends as Ryan teases him with fake wolf howls. Bo beats Ryan up and threatens him not to tell anyone how afraid he actually was. A wolf watches them from the forest. Tara is a vegetarian. Ryan slips a note into her wagon, inviting her to his home, saying he can help her feel normal. Turns out Ryan's mom is obsessed with excess hair. Ryan can give Tara some experimental serum. After the drug injection, Tara fantasizes about tearing a yapping dog apart with her teeth. A side effect? Maybe. That night during the show, Bo and his asshole friends throw actual darts at Tara. She busts out of her cage and attacks him before being pulled off. The sideshow crew doesn't know how she broke the cage. Is Tara changing somehow? Tara and Ryan go on a cute little date. They kiss. She is definitely losing some hair. That night, she dreams of killing a sheep. Tara seeks advice from the show's hermaphrodite, Christina, about relationships with normal people. During her shower, she loses a lot of hair, mostly on her torso. She lies to Ryan about the side effects to try and get him to increase the dosage. Ryan is distracted by his mom, allowing Tara to give herself an increased dose without Ryan knowing. Mrs. Klein does not approve of him seeing one of the circus freaks. Ryan takes Tara on a public date and stands up for her. We learn that Tara was raised by the circus. Her father left when she was born, and her mother essentially abandoned her at the sideshow before being murdered by her own villagers. Bo continues to be an ass. Tara's fantasies about violence have escalated to humans now. She also drinks out of the toilet. Tara passes out. When she comes to, she meets some younger teens who treat her with human kindness. It's a touching moment. Harley scares two of Bo's friends. Bo's friend, Crystal, is so traumatized at the sight of the fat lady that she makes herself throw up. The funhouse mirrors reinforce the body dysmorphia that she's developing. Tara is now putting the fear of God into dogs. She peeps on Bo and learns that he has a tiny penis, which explains at least part of why he's such an ass. Tara runs away, first getting hit by a car before getting back to the show's camp. Harley tells Tara that her attack on Bo has driven up interest in the sideshow, particularly in her act. But Tara doesn't feel like being an object of attention that night. Bo shows up at Tara's wagon with a gun so that she'll never tell anyone his secret. She launches herself at him. The gun goes off, but he misses. Instead, she chases him through the forest. She tears out his throat with her teeth. Harley and the freaks are not on the same page. Harley clearly cares for them, but he's also seeing dollar signs. Ryan looks for Tara. Bo's posse finds his gun. Tara wakes up with significantly less hair and bloody clothes. Ryan learns from his mom the experimental drug is dangerous, but Tara does not care. She desperately wants to be normal, so she steals a dose. Bo's posse finds his dead body. Harley has upgraded Tara's sign to say Wolf Woman. Harley is in peak form introducing her. Tara attacks him and flees her cage. This causes the audience to stampede out of the tent, which collapses. Tara crawls into the forest and gives herself the last dose. When she wakes, her behavior is entirely animalistic. A mob of townsfolk search the woods. Ryan and Harley both search for her on their own. Crystal finds Tara but doesn't recognize her since Tara has lost all her body hair. Tara can't talk anymore. Tara rips out Crystal's tongue. Ryan witnesses this. He begs Tara to come to her senses, but in the end, a wolf appears and the film cuts away as a shot is fired. The show leaves town without Tara. It's revealed that Ryan shot the wolf and turned in its corpse, which satisfies the townspeople as that's what they were hunting for. The film ends with a feral, naked Tara walking on all fours through the woods, free from hypertrichosis, but at the cost of her humanity. While this film very much builds on the traditional werewolf narrative, the transformation is in reverse. Tara becomes more normal appearing as the film goes on, even as her behavior shifts the opposite direction. At her most lycanthropic, she's a normal teenage girl covered in body hair, a medical condition known as hypertrichosis, and originally seen and discussed back when we did Transylvania 65000. There are no facial or skeletal deformities. In a nice touch, we see her applying prosthetics to modify the appearance of her ears, teeth, and hands to better fit what the public expects of a wolf girl. Now, while Tara is called a wolf girl, she's not a werewolf. She was born with a medical condition, and there's no passing this curse on to anyone except genetically. The drug that Ryan gives Tara alters her personality, making her much more animalistic and wolf-like. She is susceptible to normal weapons and harm. The discussion of whether there is a cure is an interesting one. The drug makes Tara appear more typically human, but it strips her of her human intellect. She can be one or the other, look human or act human. That's not really a cure at all. So now let's move on to the themes. The circus life as a metaphor. The ethics of circus sideshows present a very complex moral terrain that challenges our understanding of human dignity and exploitation. This is an undeniably sensitive topic, and while I'll share my perspective, I recognize that reasonable people may disagree with me. I am eager to hear conflicting perspectives on this fraught issue. I am most certainly not the ultimate word or even an expert. Movies like Freaks or Wolf Girl powerfully illuminate both the benefits and drawbacks of exhibiting human oddity. These sideshows historically featured not just those with unusual physical characteristics, but also individuals who chose to modify their bodies or to develop extraordinary skills. Consider the great Omi, who transformed himself through extensive tattooing and piercings, or the sword swallowers and fire eaters who mastered dangerous arts. Their presence, alongside those born with unusual characteristics, adds nuance and questions of agency and spectacle. Now, proponents of historical sideshows argue that these platforms provided economic opportunities for individuals otherwise marginalized by society, offering performers a means of survival and potential social mobility during periods of extreme discrimination with limited financial options. Charles Stratton, better known as General Tom Thumb, exemplifies this potential for success. Performing with P.T. Barnum made him incredibly wealthy, and he moved in elite social circles, even attending Abraham Lincoln's reception at the White House. Similarly, conjoined twins Chang and Eng Bunker became prosperous businessmen and landowners in North Carolina, managing their own exhibitions and later establishing successful farming operations. Conversely, Saartjie Baartman, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, known as the Hottentot Venus, represents the darker side of this industry. Despite drawing crowds across Europe, she died in poverty, and her remains were displayed without dignity for over a century after her death. Another benefit of these shows is that they gave these individuals a community, a found family of friends who understood them and their challenges. However, the closed nature of sideshow communities could sometimes trap performers in dangerous situations. Critics rightfully point out the dehumanization inherent in such performances. The reduction of a human being to curiosities strips individuals of their personal narratives, transforming them into objects of fascination and sometimes ridicule. The psychological impact of sideshow performance cannot be understated. Now, some performers indeed found community and economic empowerment. However, many experienced profound psychological trauma from the constant objectification. I'm tempted to draw a line between the freaks of yesterday to today's constantly online influencers packaging their every personal thought and experience for observation, not because they have to, but out of some kind of desperate need for attention. Now, Todd Browning's controversial film Freaks powerfully interrogated this dynamic, presenting performers with physical differences as complex, emotionally rich human beings who resist simplistic categorization. The film challenges audiences by inverting traditional notions of monstrosity. Actual performers were involved in making the film, keeping it honest and authentic. Wolf Girl continues and explores this internal conflict, examining the delicate balance between community and exploitation within sideshow life. Through characters like Harley, we see how even well-intentioned management can prioritize profit over personal welfare. The film portrays the genuine care within these communities, evident in Finian's devotion to finding Tara, while acknowledging how economic pressures force difficult choices. When Tara's medication causes concerning behavioral changes, Harley sees financial opportunity rather than warning signs, exemplifying the complex tensions between individual care and group survival. Contemporary disability studies provide fresh frameworks for understanding these practices. Rather than viewing performers as passive victims, modern scholarship emphasizes their agency and strategic self-preservation. Some performers deliberately subverted audience expectation, transforming potential exploitation into performative critique. These exhibitions both normalized certain bodies and rendered others as spectacles, reinforcing dominant cultural narratives about normalcy. While some argue sideshows inadvertently advanced medical understanding, this curiosity often perpetuated objectification rather than genuine comprehension. Ultimately, the ethics of circus sideshows resist simplistic moral judgments. They represent an intersection of economic necessity, cultural performance, oppression, and individual resilience. So, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan on discussing Dog Soldiers from 2002. Keep your eye on the moon, the silver bolt in the chamber, and we'll see you back next episode.